name is Amanda, and I want to welcome you to Historic Richmond Town's CASA program for 2021. We are going to learn about the history and culture of Staten Island through some projects that we're going to do. So today our focus is called Sandy Ground. It was a free black settlement on Staten Island that was known for two things: oysters and strawberries. Now, the land itself was called Sandy Ground because it was sandy. There wasn't much dirt, so it wasn't good for growing most of the fruits and vegetables. But what they could grow there was strawberries. The sandy ground was perfect for growing strawberries, so we are going to dive into that and make some paper strawberries today.
Okay, today we are making paper strawberries, and for reference, next to me I have a real strawberry, and I brought this so that I can figure out which way the seeds go when it's time for us to draw the seeds. But first I'm going to talk about supplies. If you don't have a hole punch, what you can do is ask your grown-up to help you use a toothpick to punch holes when we get to that point. Okay. Start off by creating a square with our paper. So how we do that is I am going to fold the top corner of my paper down and create an edge. So I'm going to match up this edge, the top edge of the paper, with the side edge of the paper. So I'm going to take this down to the table here. I'm going to make sure that the sides match up. And then I'm going to put the paper on the table, and I'm going to use my finger to crease the paper. So now we have a sheet that looks like this. So this creates a triangle here, but two of these triangles create a square. So what I'm going to do is use this bottom edge as a guideline to cut out the square. Chris, can you pass me the scissors? Okay. So I'm going to cut off this extra bottom edge here. Make sure my crease is nice. Okay, and once we have a nice square of paper, we're not done folding yet. So we're going to refold our triangle here, and then this edge with the fold on it is going to be our base, and we will connect the two edges of the fold again. So I'm going to take this bottom fold here, and I'm going to take one corner and bring it to the other corner. And you can use the surface you're working on to press your folds. Okay, so now we go from a square to a triangle to a smaller triangle, and we're going to fold it one more time the same way. So what I'm going to do now is there is this bottom corner here. So I have two edges that are folded on this side, and I have one edge that's folded on this side. I'm going to fold the folded edge to the folded edge. I'm going to do the same thing again. Match up my edges and do a nice press. Okay. I have everything pressed well, so when I open up my sheet of paper, it's going to look like this. I have 8 sections. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and you're going to do the same thing with your green paper, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, welcome back for the next step. I have one red paper that I folded like in the last step, and then I did the same with a sheet of green paper. Now these two, they're folded the same, but they're going to differ a little bit. I'm going to put the green one to the side for now, and we're going to work with the red one. This top edge is the open part of the paper. Okay, this is the open edge of the paper. So this part is going to stay on top while we work with it. We're going to fold, fold, top edge. So what I want you to do is put that down in front of you, okay? And we're gonna make sure that we know where the top edge is. And then we are going to use a marker or a pen to create the top shape that we are gonna cut out to make our strawberry later. So what I want you to do is just draw a curve on the top edge so that you're cutting the top edges off. I'll show you. Okay, so here's what my curve looks like. Doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but you just want a curve that connects the folded edge to the folded edge. And this is my top raw edge. I'm gonna put this down and I'm going to draw a pointed edge instead. And I might want to bring that one a little closer to the bottom corner to make the leaves a little smaller. But here is my pointed edge. I'm gonna cut right where I drew, both on the green paper and the red paper. Don't be afraid to ask a grown-up for help if the paper is a little too thick for you to cut through. Okay, so I've cut all of my green top edge off. I'm gonna do the same with the red here. I'm gonna cut right along that curved line. It's a lot of layers of paper, so it's even a little tough for me to cut through. So take your time, no rush. We're always gonna be careful when we're using scissors. Okay, so I'm gonna put my scrap to the side. I have my pointed green and my curved red. So I'm gonna show you what these look like when I open them so you can see how yours should look. When I open my red, I'm gonna open it once and I have a heart. I'm gonna open it twice. I'm gonna open it 3 times. It looks almost a little bit like a flower, okay? So with the red, we're gonna put the green to the side for now. With the red, we're gonna do something special. You're gonna pick one of these creases that you made, one of these fold lines, and you are going to cut right down to the center. So I'm gonna use this fold line as what I'm gonna cut. So I'm gonna cut from here, straight down to the center and no further. All right, so I've made my first cut here. I'm gonna cut one more time. I'm actually gonna cut one whole heart out of the circle here. So I cut this edge here, and now I'm gonna cut this edge here so I can cut one heart and take it out. Okay. So now, I've taken out one heart. Maybe you can make a card for one of your grown-ups or your siblings. And here is what I am left with. Okay, so I'm gonna meet you in the next step. And I am going to put it down on the table in front of me, and I'm actually gonna draw some seeds onto the strawberry. But I'm only gonna do it on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections because one of them is gonna overlap. So I'm just gonna draw seeds on these 5, and I'm gonna leave this one blank. I'm gonna do this real quick. So I have my seeds on 5 out of 6 of my strawberry panels here. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm actually gonna fold this back up for a minute. All right, so I'm gonna fold it back up according to the fold. It folds back into a heart, and then I'm gonna fold it once more into this like teardrop shape, okay? And what I'm gonna do next is at the top of this curve, in the center of this curve, I'm gonna put a little dot in the center of there, just to mark the middle. Okay. So here is my dot, it goes right there. here's what's next. I'm going to take my hole punch and I'm gonna punch right through all of these layers. Okay, center my hole punch over the hole. Okay, so now I've squeezed and punched a hole. So again, if you don't have a hole punch, what you can do is take another sharp object. I would suggest trying first with a toothpick, but you can also try with a pen or a pencil. Just make sure you ask your grown-up to help you if you're using a toothpick or a pencil or a pen. Okay, so when everybody has their holes that go through the center, I'm gonna open it back up, and here's where the magic happens. There's actually a hole now in every section of the strawberry. Okay, here's what comes next. I have this blank section here. I'm gonna take this blank section and put it behind this section. So I'm gonna bring it around and put it right behind this section. And the next thing we're gonna do is actually form this into the shape of a strawberry. So you're gonna need a little bit of patience here, take it slow, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. But take your time, however much time you need is fine. And I'm gonna go from the outside, I'm gonna go in to one of the holes. So I'm gonna put the yarn through, I'm gonna pull it through, okay? And then I'm gonna do the same thing on the next one. I'm actually gonna take this and I'm gonna put it on the outside, and then I'm gonna bring it from the outside in. Okay. All right, you can see how those are threaded. And now what I'm gonna do is I have this end and I have this end. So I'm actually gonna pull them together, and I'm gonna take my time to make sure that these petals lay in the way I want them to, okay? So I'm gonna pull in a little bit and see how the petals react. I'm just drawing them closer together, okay? And they kind of start to fold in on themselves. So the more you pull, if you pull slowly, you'll see that they start to fold in on themselves. Okay, so I am going to slowly tie the top two pieces together. And when you tie your initial knot, you can squish it tighter and make it the way you want. And you might need your grown-ups' help with this, that's fine. But here I've tied my little bow, okay? And it might be lopsided, your strawberry might look like this, but you can just squeeze it and make it round again, okay? Make it look the way you want. Now we can put this piece aside, and we're gonna bring back that green paper that we were working with. We're gonna leave this top raw edge alone, and what we're gonna do is we're going to cut a little bit of that bottom corner off, just a little bit, just a little snippet, okay? The tiniest triangle you can imagine. So to open this up, and you will see I have a lot of points. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is bow, adjust it the way I want, and I'm gonna put it through the hole. And you can take this apart and put it back together until you get the result you want. Okay. All right. So that little triangle I cut out earlier, I might even cut it a little bit smaller next time. Maybe even looks a little big. So I have my leaves of my strawberry. You can move it. You can even glue it down so it can be where you want. You can cut the leaves smaller if you want, but I have my strawberry on the bottom and I have my leaves on top. And then your yarn is like the stem. I think it looks pretty much like my actual real strawberry, so that's pretty cool. All right, I hope you enjoyed this craft. See you next time.